Hello, beautiful souls. I've been called to do this reading because Spirit, the divine source of all creation, has a very definitive message for a particular group of people today. And I don't know how this is going to come out of me because I've been absolutely bombarded with the message. And it's a message that I've given many of my clients over the years, and it's been very pertinent to my own journey. So I guess I'll start with who I'm talking to, who this message is for. Cross-watchers are welcome, whatever the words are, whatever. But I'm talking to people who are the helpers in this world, the givers in this world. I'm talking to people who, whether you're aware of it or not, you tend to leave places, whether it's a workplace, a house, a rental home, a property, or whatever, wherever you are for any amount of time, whether it's work or personal, or even someone else's house, that you tend to, you have this intent, this unspoken intent, you just find yourself doing it. This is why I'm saying it might be conscious or unconscious, where you like to leave things better, leave things and places and people better than what you found them. So you're a cleanser, a clearer, a helper, you're the one who speaks words of truth where no words of truth are spoken, which can be confronting for the people around you or the people you're dealing with at that time. Your intent is pure, your intent is to help, your intent is to leave places and people better than what you found them. And by that, I'm not saying that you intend to leave them. No, I'm saying you're always looking to improve a situation, solution finding, helping to heal, helping to people to see, if it's a work situation, how a certain process that they're doing in their work actually doesn't help them to achieve the goal they want, or they're not employing people who really help the situation, help them to achieve what they want to achieve. If it's home life, it's where you can see a friend or family member's patterns in terms of when they're in abusive situations or whatever, and you try to help. You're always wanting to make things better. I'm talking to people who, just for example, I was at a petrol station the other day, and I noticed, it's the second time I've seen this employee of the petrol station, and both times she was cleaning. I've been going to that petrol station for years and years and years and never seen one other staff member, she's new there for as far as I know, ever clean, ever move something to clean under it or sweep outside or anything. And it's because this person is a light being, and she needs to, when she's working in any environment, she needs to make it better. So she can see things that need cleaning, things that need moving, whatever. And just by being herself, she's making things better. That's just one simple example. And in so doing, she's raising the vibration of that business. And it's done with such humility. She's not going in there saying, oh, this place is disgusting, I'm the one who's going to clean it up. No, she's actually spoken to her employees and said, do you mind me cleaning? Is it okay if I clean as well as part of my job? And they're like, yeah, sure, of course. Of course they're going to say that, right? So all I'm saying is she's doing that with humility. She's humble. She's not coming in and saying, I know what this place needs. So I'm talking to people who through their own humility and their own great desire to make things better, to heal the world. And like, you can scoff at that, but there are souls in the world. If you're not one of them and you're watching this, I'll let you know there are many souls in the world where that is their goal. That is their mission. No matter how big or small the changes they are here to implement are, that is their mission. So I'm talking to people who have a tendency to always put themselves last, to always put their needs as last priority, because you can always see others that are in need, and you always tend, or if it is past tense for you, well done, you always tend to prioritise the needs of others above your own, and you think that this is the way to do it. I'm here to talk to you about the many ways in which you dim your light. You allow others to play a role in you dimming your own light, which is self-sabotage. And so one of the things that I've said to many of my, and I might have said it in previous videos, I can't remember, to many of my clients who are these types of people who just give and give and give and give and give. And they think, well, I'm doing what Source, God wants me to do, right? We're here to self-sacrifice for the betterment of others. Well, actually, no, you're meant to do it in a sustainable way. One of the things that I've found myself saying many times to many people over the years in my readings is the old example of, if you're in an aeroplane, you're about to, taken off in flight, whatever, and the crew start doing their safety procedures, and they say, if the oxygen masks fall down from the ceiling of the plane, and you have a dependent next to you, or someone who can't really look after themselves, whether it's a child or an elderly person, disabled person, whatever, I always ask the person, who do you put the oxygen mask on first, yourself or them? And 9 times out of 10, they want to say them. But what happens when you put someone else's priorities above someone else's needs as a higher priority than your own needs? You put the mask on them and you pass out, and then you're no good to anyone. If you pass out helping others, become unconscious through lack of oxygen because you're helping others, then you're no use to anyone. And those dependents, those people who are in need, are going to continue to need help, and you're passed out. So if you think you're doing humanity a great service by putting your needs last, it's time to reassess that and correct it, because it's not doing you a service and it's not doing anyone else a service. The best way that you can serve is by focusing on your own needs and making sure that they are met, so that you walk the planet in a state of balance and inner joy and happiness, so that it's actually your surplus energy, your surplus love that you're sharing to help others. You're not supposed to be doing it running on empty, thinking that, oh, God will have my back, or someone will come along that will help me to nourish myself after all this help is given out. It doesn't happen. It won't happen for as long as you're operating that way. That will happen when you start to put yourself first. It's actually a form of self-sabotage when you think you're doing the right thing and you're actually just giving and giving and giving and giving. Let me tell you, that is the it can first of all come from an unhealed wound within you, where perhaps you were raised in an environment where you realised that I have to be the most giving, caring person here, otherwise I won't receive love. It's people pleasing, it's whatever you want to call it. I've got to play a certain role, otherwise I won't receive love. I won't be liked, I won't be seen, or whatever it is, Perhaps you didn't get a lot of attention and felt that if you disappeared, no one would notice. And so you can see people around you suffering and you step in to help out of the goodness of your heart. But underneath that is a motivation of wanting to be seen, wanting to look what I can do for you. Don't you love me now? That kind of thing. But the desire to help does come from what your soul compels you to do. It is part of your mission. But the neglect of self, doing things to the detriment of yourself, is not part of your soul mission. So I was shown an example of a child, teenager, young adult, growing up in a family where there's a lot of arguments going on around them between either the parents or other siblings, or parents and siblings, or if you're an adult and you've got older siblings and you're witnessing them fighting with their spouse or their partner at the time, and all you want to do is make things better. And the way that they live, like if they start beating up on each other and you've got to pick people up off the floor and all that kind of stuff, then they're living in a way that's screaming for help me, but they're not actually asking for help. And so you step in and you try to calm things down and bring peace, and then go further and try to bring understanding within these people of, aggression doesn't get you anywhere. What are you looking to achieve here? Perhaps start to look at, doing some emotional bookkeeping within yourself, or, self-reflection, or things that bring you harmony and peace, so that when difficult situations come up between you and your partner, whether it's a parent, sibling, whatever the situation is, that you're not so triggered and not so aggressive, whatever, and you get told, they shut you down, you get told where to stick it, basically. And yet you're expected to live within that environment where there's all of this abuse and arguments, and it's a very, very disruptive, very negative environment. So you do what you do to help, and then what can happen is that you're treated with disregard when you're not needed, when you can't be of use, is the pattern that starts to come in, and then you grow up with this thing of, the only way that I get any form of anything that resembles love or affection or whatever is when I'm of use, because I'm the peace bringer, I'm the harmonizer, I'm the solution finder, whatever, or the caregiver. And so Source wants you to look at things in, say you've come into this in a certain way. So from a bird's eye view, if your soul has dedicated itself to come into this life in this body that you're in, with a mission to make things better, whatever that everyone's got individual missions, and we're not aware of them because when we come down here, we're in amnesia like everybody else. So it's our journey. You know, through our journey, we find what our mission is, what we're meant to be doing, and how we're meant to be affecting things in a positive way. That when your soul, when you signed up for that, you have then come down here and your light attracts dark forces, because this is the whole reason why you've come down, right, is to dispel some of the darkness and bring light. So the dark forces that are already here quietly and in many ways work against you to shut you down. And so not only were you born into a family where I would say you're spiritually, emotionally, affectionately malnourished, but you then proceed through your life and you keep attracting friends, partners, what have you, work situations where you're attracting darkness to you. So these dark entities can represent as people in need. So for example, if you're someone who finds yourself as an adult in a relationship where your partner's needs seem to always be overwhelmingly more obvious and apparent than your own, because you're used to negating yourself and your own needs. So your needs are like a quiet whisper, even though your soul's screaming out for do the right thing for yourself, it becomes a quiet whisper because you're used to ignoring it. And so, but you've attracted this partner who doesn't have any shame or any problem at all with making their needs, expressing their needs and being upset or throwing a tantrum or whatever it is that they express they're not happy with. Not even necessarily within the relationship, but I'm a victim of this, I'm a victim of that, I'm a victim of this. And you can't see them actually helping themselves. And so just and you love this person, so just in your interaction with this person, you are negating yourself and saying, well, their needs are more important than mine right now because look at the state that they're in. Now, this person may or may not be manipulating you. This person may or may not be conscious of the fact that perhaps they're being used by dark forces to distract you from your path. That is a classic example of how your light gets dimmed, because when your needs aren't being met, when you're not looking after yourself, when you're not doing the things that keep you in balance and increase your inner joy and happiness, you are dimming your light. So life keeps bringing you all these distractions, all of these people. They could be in friends that you meet this amazing person and we just click, and where's this person been all my life, and all that kind of stuff, and you become great friends. But then over time, if you look close enough, you'll see a pattern there where you're constantly getting pulled off course because your desire to have this friendship, this person who understands you, who gets you, who's got your back, whatever, but they don't actually. You keep putting other people's needs before your own, and when you are going through hardship, you'll see that they may listen to you, I would say you have a propensity to not actually share your hardships with other people because you don't want to bother anybody else, and because everyone else around you has their own problems, right? But isn't it funny that they never have a problem with sharing it? And yet you don't want to bother anyone with your stuff. Constantly dimming your light, constantly putting out energy to help others. And so the dark forces know perhaps that there's an element of you that's unhealed, that you seek love through what you can do for people, acknowledgement through what you can do for people. And the dark forces send you more and more people to help. Could be one person in your life who's just taking it all. It could be 10 people. Yeah? Taking all of your focus and attention and energy because they're in need. Some of them will even say to you, I look after you, look what I did here, look what I did there, look what I'll do when you're in need. I've been in need all this time and I'm not getting nourished. So the answer is step back and start nourishing yourself. Don't allow other people's needs to distract you from what you need to do for yourself. And so they said, look around you. Please remind me, Spirit. Look around you, who you're surrounded by. And how many people whose needs you prioritise above your own. And you keep saying to yourself, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. You keep placating yourself. I will take that bath. I will go for that walk. I will, get back to eating better food. I will do that self-massage. I will do that writing for myself to deal with my emotional stuff. I will better myself and my life and do what I need to do. I'll get to that. But right now, I need to put energy here, outside of myself. Don't you think that if the dark forces can see your motivations for doing stuff, even if you are healed, but you still continue to do things in a way that's unsustainable for you, where you choose consciously to negate yourself, to put off what you need to do for yourself, and putting other people's things first, the dark forces will take advantage of that. It will be never ending. It will be your whole life cycle, if you let it be, where you constantly seek and attract needy, whether they're aware of it or they're not, whether they're manipulating you or they're not, whether they're conscious of it or not. A lot of people aren't conscious of the fact that they are being used by dark forces. And so their needs, their desperation comes across as very apparent to you because they don't understand why they keep attracting situations where they're not coping and they're in need. And so their call for help is genuine. But what's behind it is the dark forces. And these people are not willing to change the way they operate, to free themselves, to do anything for themselves. I think I said in a previous video, stop feeding horses who can't even be bothered bending their necks to eat the grass from the ground. Because you'll always be doing it. That's dependency, right? And each time you choose this, each time you choose to negate yourself for the betterment of others, you think you're doing great service and that God's giving you a thumbs up and a nod, you are dimming your light and you're not getting a thumbs up. You're going to get lessons. You're going to attract karmic lessons that will continue to show you that you're putting your energy in the wrong places. Where should it be? Within you. Give of your spillover. Fill thy cup. I don't know why I'm saying it that way. Fill thy cup and give of the spillover of your energy, of your self-love. At the foundations of everything about you, there needs to be self-love. In order to truly have that, you must have healed your motivations for why you do what you do. You have to look at that and heal that. And simply through doing the things that you need to do to self-nourish, okay, and to look after yourself, your home, your garden, your work life, your whatever, your intimate relationships, doing the things that are only about you, that fill you up. That's a process in which we realise, hang on a minute, I don't have to be of service to be loved because I love myself. I'm already giving myself everything that I always thought I needed to get from other people. It's awesome when it comes from other people, but you ain't gonna get it while you're showing the world that you don't matter, that your feelings and thoughts don't matter. You ain't gonna get it because you're in lack mentality. I used to find myself saying, if someone offered me something, oh no, I'm okay. And I really need that thing. Or I'm really hungry and offering me food. Oh no, I'm okay. Because you don't want to be a burden. You don't want to be taking. You think taking is bad. How about receiving is good? Receiving good things from other people is good. We don't always have to receive their problems. So if you're in a situation where you're giving and giving and giving and giving and you can't actually see the fruit forming on this tree, but you keep feeding it, you keep helping, and whenever you actually give advice of, do you realise you're in this state now, Nelly, because of the decisions that you've made in the last 6 weeks or 6 months? Can you see how you've made bad decisions for yourself? This is why you find yourself here. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to change. They don't want to be held accountable for what got them there. I'm sure that many of you, many times in your life, have gotten to the point where you kind of raise your hands up and go, okay, no worries, keep doing what you're doing. I'll leave you to your own devices, keep doing what you're doing, see where that gets you. And you start to learn to pull back. You start to learn, the Fool card comes to mind, where the Fool is saying, well, I've got what I need, I've got to look after myself and do, and it's not about being selfish, it's about prioritising yourself, because if you don't, nobody will, because you don't attract people. While you're in that state where you're just trying to help everybody else, you won't attract people like you who are going to give and nourish and reciprocate. You're just going to be surrounded by takers in one form, shape or another. The more you do for yourself, the more you prioritise your needs and give of the overspill of your self-love, the higher your frequency will become, the more your light will not be dimmed, you will shine. And that's when you start to attract, and these are the times for it, I tell you now, that's when you'll start to attract, by accident almost, other people who resonate with you. and will reciprocate what you give off. It may not happen straight away. That's not the point, because you're not doing the self-love thing in order to attract people who are looking to reciprocate your energy. You're not doing it for that. You're doing it for you. Even if you walk for the rest of your life through the valley of darkness, whatever, I don't know why I'm saying that, but even if you walk through life for the rest of your life, never having met other people like you who actually are able to reciprocate what you give, you still do that for yourself, because you carry the light through that valley of darkness. And you use your discernment where, and I've said this many times in the readings, you use your discernment as to where, when, how much, and with whom you place your energies. Don't use other people's needs to constantly distract yourself from yourself. That helps nobody, actually. Dark forces will use that to take you off your path and keep you busy over there in that lifelong relationship, or that friend after friend after friend situation, or that family situation that just never ends. It will never end, and it will distract you from your life path. Yeah. Another thing I often describe is, so if someone always passes the ball to you when they've got a problem, or like you being the nature that you are, you can see when they're about to drop it and you're there to catch it. Or sometimes you've gone up to people and said, I can see that ball is heavy, let me take that for you. And they're like, oh, what? Oh, okay. And they'll let you, of course, carry my burdens by all means. But if every time someone passes the ball, which represents their problems, over to you, you catch it, that person will learn, you're teaching them, that they don't need to ever change, because you're always catching it for them. They also don't need to work on building a support network or anything they need to do for themselves. They'll be spiritually lazy, because you're always catching the ball for them. So sometimes you need to sort of avert your gaze, turn to the side, let the ball hit you in the side of the leg and go, oops, you dropped your ball. I'll let you pick that up. Oh, but can't you? Because you always do it, right? Not right now, I've got other things I have to do. And hopefully those other things are for yourself. And then they learn, oh, I can't get away with this anymore if they're doing it deliberately. Or they learn, okay, I need to lift my game for myself to improve my life, because this person or these group of people, they might have a few of you on the run, right? Aren't as giving these days. Our mission isn't to walk around, Spirit's showing me this, and put pacifiers in everybody's mouth. All these open mouths crying for attention and support. We just keep putting pacifiers in there, and they're there, let me nurse you. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to anchor the higher frequencies, the ever increasingly higher frequencies that are coming down upon us. We're here to anchor that and walk it through this planet just by being. It's not about us changing anyone, deliberately going out of our way to fix people, actually. It's okay if that's your practice. That's different, because the person's signing up to come and see you, they're paying to come and see you. They're paying for your time, and it's very structured. And I'm talking about situations where you're giving and giving and giving into things and not doing what you need to do for yourself. and stop making the excuse of, I know what I'm doing, I know that I'm negating myself to help this person or this situation, but right now I've got to put that first as first priority. I'll get back to me. And see whether you actually ever do. Okay, I think I've made my point. I think I've said everything I was meant to say. I've been told to do just a quick 3-card spread, and I hope I've done my mission today, justice in service of spirit. They're saying give yourself the care and support that you so diligently give to others. Give it to yourself. Don't wait for someone to come along to give that to you. Give it to yourself. You must nourish yourself first. You have to, in order to, let's say your mission is that today I'm going to feed 1,000 people food. But you leave your workplace or your home with all the food, and you've gathered all the people around to help feed those 1,000 people, whatever it is, right? But you don't eat yourself. You don't nourish yourself before you leave, so you've got the energy to do it. You don't get your house in order before you leave to help others get theirs in order. So you're starving and you're feeding others. Crazy, right? Thank you, Spirit, for that. So what we have is the Empress, the World, and the Wheel of Fortune. Wow. And then underneath we have the Hierophant. Like, wow. What I'm getting here, right across the board here, and what Spirit is giving me is discernment, discernment, discernment. It's what I said before. Look at where you place your energy and your focus and your attention. It needs to come back onto you. The Empress is often depicted or said to be pregnant, as in she's ready and has the resources and the energy, the inner energy, life force within her to be able to give birth to a child, a new life, or a new beginning, or a new project. She's sitting back and she is taking stock of the resources that she has available to her in order to do what she's decided to build, a creative endeavor, creation. Yeah, Empress sits above all the queens. She knows what she's doing, she knows where she gets nourished, and she knows where to place her energies, and she's in no rush. She sits back and lets the water flow to nourish her garden. Then she chooses what she wants to create. The World, many people don't describe the World card the way that I do. If you look at it in terms of this is you and your world, I don't know if you can see it. This is you within your world, and there's lots of external people in your life, very different personalities, and so they operate differently. You love helping people and being of service to people, so your energy is constantly going out. And sometimes you get burnt out and you feel like you're being pulled in, 15 different directions. But it's how you've set it up for yourself, right? But this is actually you doing a dance in the middle of it because you love the interconnectivity. You love interacting with different types of people in different situations and whatever. You love being busy. You love putting your energy outwards. But the difference is, you see, she's not shabby. She's not shabby. She's looking after herself while she's doing that. She does that first and then gets to enjoy the dance of helping others. But she comes from a never-ending fountain of youth, let's put it, or a never-ending fountain of life force, of joy, of happiness, because she does what she needs to do for herself first. And this represents the boundaries she has in place so that she's not just drawn from at any given time. Her life force isn't diminished at the will of others at the will of others, at their whims, at whim. Yeah? They don't get to turn the tap on and off. She does. I hope I'm being clear. When you're in control of the taps that, water other people, then you know when to turn them off or turn them down or turn them up or whatever, because the reservoir's running dry. Yeah? And you stock up, you self-nourish, then you've got more to give. It's not your mission to deplete yourself. So then what you give comes out of joy and abundance, not out of, well, I have to, I feel obligated, they need me. I'm willing to help. I like helping people, yeah, but are you helping people to distract yourself and from your own life? Sometimes we do that, right? That's self-abandonment. That's what you've been trying to avoid the whole time anyway. Self-sabotage. And then over here, the Wheel of Fortune. It's very similar, surrounded by very different personalities. Things are turning in your favour if you let them. You actually control the wheel. You do and you don't. So if the Wheel of Fortune is turning in our favour, but we choose to continue to ignore our lessons and continue to distract ourselves by putting other people's needs well above our own as a priority, then we're not going to enjoy the fact that the Wheel of Fortune is turning our way. Does that make sense? So the Wheel of Fortune could be turning like this, and then you're on top of it, and you're ready to you're in a position now where the universe is saying to you, you're about to get everything you need. But we're turning an inner wheel, going, no, I'm fine, thanks. I'm going to keep giving to everybody else. I don't want to look at myself and what I need. It's just a whisper, right? My needs are just a whisper. But they're the Grand Canyon because you've been deserting yourself. This is about being able to, having useful people around you, many different, and not just having useful people around you, but knowing all these different personality types and different stages of life and whatever, or socioeconomic stages or whatever they represent, that you're wise enough to know how to get the best outcome from people, if that makes sense. They represent resources. This is all about putting your energy out there, but doing it in a sustainable way. This is all about receiving. Because we can't, and between the two of them, it represents balance, which then puts you in Empress energy. I hope that makes sense. And so where we end up, the bottom of the deck, is the Hierophant. And for me, the Hierophant is all about mastering your world, mastering how to structure your world in a way that serves you as first and foremost priority. Putting structures in place with passion, knowing that you deserve things to be set up a certain way in your home, in your work life, in your life in general, right across the board. The things that be set up a certain way because that's what you need and desire for yourself. And it's about teaching others because you've mastered it yourself. We can't turn up. I think this is a bad example, but it's what's come to me, so I'm going to try and make it work. If my mission is to walk the planet and make sure everybody's dressed better, but because I never look after myself, I'm in torn rags. Are they going to want to listen to me? How to improve their situation when I'm not a shining example of what I teach for myself? They're not gonna. So you become the master of all the wisdom and all the knowledge that comes to you from Spirit, from the divine, from the universe, from God, from Source, and use it for yourself and become a living, breathing example of what it is that you have to offer. Pour into yourself first, then you become the master. Get your life how you want it to be. No, you know it's always a work in progress. It's never perfect. And if we get anything to a state of perfection, it will always change and grow. But that's not what I'm not talking about perfection. I'm talking about having all your ducks lined up in a way that you're getting what you need, and then you're able to teach others or serve others or interact with others in a way that helps them. But it's not at your expense, not financially, and certainly not energetically or time-wise either. Some people demand all of that from us, and we just give and we pour in because we think, oh, if I can just make this person happy, I'll get them to a place where they're stable, I'll stabilize them and get them on dry land, then my life will become easier because they will, I will have helped them. Yeah? Guess what? They never get there because they're never doing it for themselves. The moments and times that you're not there with them, physically, energetically helping them, they are continuing to perpetuate their own pain or misery or destruction. I hope you're getting that. And I know for a lot of you, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I'm telling you this today because that's what I've been told to do today. It's not what I had in mind, but it's what I've been told to do today. So I hope this reaches the people. I trust that this reaches the people that need to hear it right now. Build on your foundations, new foundations actually. I'm getting now the energy of a lot of us have been through a lot of tower moments of destruction, of falling away, of people or situations that we thought would always be there or whatever, and it's disappointments in people and situations and all that kind of emotional pain and upheaval and whatever, and we all know that it's what is meant to be. There's nothing that we can do to change it, because we've learnt in the past that when you keep putting into that someone who's turned their back to you, it encourages them to keep doing what they're doing. So come back to yourself and go, okay, what do I need to do for myself? I'm going to leave it there. I hope the video is not too long, and I hope that you've gained some assistance through this. Obviously, as per usual, make decisions for yourself, take full responsibility for your own decisions, be accountable for your own life and the decisions that you make. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, because that helps other people get to see this. And yeah, I wish you all the best and see you next time.